A huge non-optimized image can really slow your web page load time. This video is going to cover some tips, tricks, and techniques in optimizing the images on your WordPress site. Now, ideally, you should optimize your images before uploading them to your WordPress site, but if you have an existing site with a whole bunch of images already, it's not too late to optimize those as well. Now, there's a couple of things to consider when talking about optimizing images. One is the file size, another is the file dimensions. Now, if you've got a WordPress site that has a maximum content area of, say, 1,000 pixels in width, then there's really no reason to be uploading an image that is 3,000 pixels wide. All you're doing is asking your browser and all of your visitors' browsers to work extra hard in loading that image and squishing it down to fit the dimensions that WordPress will allow. So right off the bat, if you've got a whole bunch of images on your site that are really huge, a lot larger than what the size allows for on your site, then I would go to an FTP client like FileZilla or whatever you might use, download all of your images, run them through an image editor, changing those image dimensions to those that would fit better on your WordPress site. Now, the other item to consider is the file size of your image, and that also can be reduced without reducing the quality of the image through some of these image editing programs. Now, if you do a Google search at the time of this recording anyway, a search for image optimizer, you're going to come up with a little over 2 million results. So there's really no excuse whatsoever in not optimizing your images. Now, these results, I'm sure, contain both programs that are downloaded and installed on your computer, as well as web-based programs that you don't have to download. And I'm sure a whole bunch of these are free. For example, for PC users like myself, you've got IrfanView, where you can go to irfanview.com, download both the program and the plugins. Or if you're a Mac user, head on over to imageoptim.com. I'm not a Mac user, so I'm going on secondhand knowledge here, but from what I understand, this is a great program. Both are no cost. Or if you want to stick with the web-based program, go to dynamicdrive.com and click on the image optimizer link, and you can either enter the URL of an image, or you can click on choose file and go to the image on your computer that you want to reduce in file size. Now, you've got an upload file size limit of 2.86 megabytes, and you just select what you want to convert that image to. You can either leave it at the same as input type, or you can change whatever it is to a GIF, JPEG, or PNG. Now, this one here is a little under the max of 2.86. I think this is 2.66 megabytes. And then I'm going to show you all the results, and then just click on optimize. And once this goes through and does its thing, it's going to give you a whole list of the images, and then you'll just scroll down, pick the best one that looks good, but also has the best reduction in file size without sacrificing the quality of the image. And then right-click on the image you want to use. This one, for example, has been reduced from 2.66 megabytes down to 808 kilobytes. Just right-click on the image, left-click on Save Image As. Now, this is the Chrome browser. If you're in a different browser, then this is going to look a little different. Navigate to where you want to save that image to. Change the name, otherwise you'll overwrite the existing image. And it's that easy. Now, that's for off-site reduction. Let's say you've got a bunch of images on your site already. And if you come on over here to my media library, you can see that I've got a few of them on here. They're not giving you the dimension size, but these are fairly large. To take care of these, you've got a couple of plugins you can work with. One is called WP Smush, which kind of took the place of an older one from Yahoo called WPSmush.it. This one works great, but you do have a couple of limitations here. Another one with a few less limitations is called Insanity. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the one from WPMUDev. So we'll come on back to our WordPress site, go to Plugins, go to Add New, and in the Search Plugins box here, type in WP space Smush, hit Enter, click on Install Now, and then Activate. And they do have a Pro version with a lot more bells and whistles to it, but for what I'm going to be demonstrating, we don't need the Pro version. But definitely check that out. Now, the smushing will take place in the Media Library section. Come on back up here. And if we go to the library section first, you can see here that this column has been added where you can smush individual images. And by the way, whenever you go to upload images now, WP Smush will automatically smush those files for you as it's being uploaded. But this is in case you want to smush these images that are already on your site. Let's go on over to Smush, and it looks like we are reducing them now. 4 out of 10 total attachments have been smushed, and we can go ahead and just finish up the bulk smushing. Now then, if we come on back to our library, you can see here where it gives you the amount that it was reduced by, and every little bit helps. So now browsers all over the world are breathing a sigh of relief anytime that they come to your site. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on optimizing your images for a faster loading WordPress page. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. This video is going to detail some easy to follow ways to increase the speed that it takes for your homepage to load in your and your visitors' browsers. Now, if your blog posts contain images, and a lot of them do, then the first thing you want to consider is optimizing those images that are currently on your site. Ideally, you want to optimize these images before you upload them to your site, but we still need to take care of those that are already on your site. Now, when I say optimize images, I mean reduce the file size and reduce the dimensions. Now, those two items can be done with the help of a couple of different plugins. One being WP Smush will reduce the file size, and another one, Resize Image After Upload, will reduce the file dimensions. So if, for example, you're uploading images from a smartphone or a digital camera, then that file size is going to be huge, maybe as much as 3 or 4 megabytes. The file dimensions are also going to be huge. That could be 3,000 or 4,000 pixels wide. Well, that's going to be viewed in a possibly 600 pixel wide content area. So you're asking your browser to do a whole lot of extra work that it shouldn't have to. Again, optimize those images before you upload them, but for those that are being auto-uploaded from digital cameras or from smartphones or those that are already on your site, these are 2 plugins you should check into. Now, one thing I need to say though, as far as this plugin is concerned, Resize Image After Upload, be sure and read some of the stuff about this first to make sure that your WordPress site can do this. For example, you'll have to have some adjustments made, more than likely, to your php.ini file that's on your server. So if you're not sure about any of this stuff, read it over, contact your web hosting service, and let them know what you're trying to do, and they should be able to tackle that stuff for you. So now that we've got our images optimized, the next thing that we want to take care of is the number of posts that are actually being displayed on your homepage. By default, there's 10. Now then, if each one of your posts have a lot of images, a lot of videos, a lot of text, then you can tell by this scrolly bar over here that there's a whole lot going on here. All this stuff has to be loaded into the browser first. So let's go ahead and minimize that by cutting that default number of posts that are being displayed from 10 down to maybe 3 or 4. We do that by going into our dashboard area, coming over to Settings, and clicking on Reading, and blog pages show at most 10 posts. We'll change that to 3. And keep an eye on that scrolly bar over here on the right. Come on down here, click on Save Changes. Come on back to our home page. You see how small that is? Let's refresh. And it wasn't a huge increase, but it definitely helped out. Now then, we've gone from 10 posts to 3 posts. Now each one of these posts, sorry, didn't want to make you dizzy there, but each one of these posts have a lot of content, have a lot of images, a lot of text, maybe some videos. Let's cut that down, again, just on the home page, to just a few paragraphs and maybe an image, or just a few paragraphs and maybe a video. And we want to use what's called the More tag to cut this off at a part in the post where it will be enticing to the reader to check out the rest of the post. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and check out the post for that working squirrel. And this is kind of like the idea behind TV series that end at what's called a cliffhanger. Something that will entice you to come back next week to see what happened to the person at the end of last week's episode. So let's say that in amongst this gibberish, that right here is a good place for that cliffhanger, if you will. Put the cursor right there. Come on up here into the formatting tools and click on Insert Read More tag. Right there it is. Come on back up here and click on Update. Now imagine that we've done this to all of our posts. Come on back to our home page and refresh, and don't forget, check out our scrolly bar over there. Major increase. Now if we did that to all of our posts, then we're only going to have this much showing of each post. And on the home page, we have what's called the continue reading tag. Just click on that to continue reading the rest of that particular post on the post page, not on the home page. So just a quick recap. We've optimized all of our images. We've reduced the number of posts that actually show up on the home page from 10 to a much smaller number. And we've reduced the amount of content on each one of those posts that are on the home page from the entire post to just a little bit of that post by using the more tag. And lastly, you might consider the overall design of your site or theme. I mean, if you've got a whole lot of stuff going on in the sidebars and pop-ups and flyouts and other gizmos that you're trying to use to try to gather leads or opt-ins or sell affiliate products or AdSense ads, well, you might take a long, hard look at scaling those things back, at least on the homepage. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of this video on optimizing your WordPress homepage. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. Your WordPress site is written in a code language called PHP and uses a database to keep everything organized, like your usernames, posts, your post revisions, and a whole lot of other stuff you really don't think about whenever you sit down to write a post. Now, just like when you drive your car on a regular basis, every now and then you need to get a tune-up on your car so that it continues to run at its best and get the best gas mileage. Well, your WordPress site also needs a tune-up on the database every now and then to keep your site running at its best and loading in your visitor's browser as fast as possible. This video is going to show you how to do a basic tune-up or optimize your WordPress database. Now, before we do anything else, make sure that you have a fresh backup of both your files and your database. There are several ways in which we can optimize our database. I'm just going to tackle one and what I consider to be the easiest way, and that is to log into our cPanel control panel. Scroll on down until you get to the databases module. Click on PHP My Admin. Then over here in the left column, if you've got several databases, make sure that you're optimizing the correct one. Actually, I would suggest doing this to all of your databases, but for the sake of this video, this is the one I'm looking at here. That's the database for our site here. And over here on the far right corner, let me see if I can squeeze this out a little bit, is the column for overhead. And there should be, like these, nothing in here, because these numbers here represent things that have taken place in these two tables that have left behind remnants or trash, if you will, or overhead. So a quick way to get rid of this stuff or optimize these tables is to come over here next to where it says check all and just click on this link here, check tables having overhead. Can't get any easier than that. It automatically checks all the tables in your database that have overhead, and then in this drop down box to the right of that, click on that, and just out of the scope of this video was a link that said optimize table. Now you can either use that or repair table. The results of either one of those would be the same thing, the removal of that overhead. So now if we come on back to our database and scroll down, you can see that the overhead has been successfully removed and our database is chugging along on all cylinders, nice and smooth. Then just close out our PHP My Admin. Come on back here just to make sure that our site still works. Refresh, and we're in business. Now that's the quick and easy way. Just in case you're wondering, there are plugins that you can install onto your WordPress site that will do a lot of this manual stuff for you automatically. One such plugin is called WP-DB Manager, and you just go to Add New under Plugins. Do a search for WP-DB Manager. This is going to pop up. Click on Install Now, then click on Activate, and then just follow the process of setting this up. But whether you're doing this through the help of a plugin or the manual way, if you will, that I just showed you, in either case, before you do anything, make sure that you have a full backup of both your files and your database. That's going to bring us to the end of this video on quickly and easily optimizing your WordPress database. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. When it comes to speeding up the load time of your WordPress site, one of the ways you can do this is by using what's called gzip. Now what this does is it squeezes all of the files of your site down to a much smaller size and sends that zipped up file to your visitor's browser, and then your visitor's browser then uncompresses it, shakes it out, fluffs it up, and displays your site to your visitor. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how all this stuff works by doing a test to see if my site is properly compressed. Spoiler alert, it's not. And if it isn't, then I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to get it compressed or gzipped. Now first off, let's go ahead and make sure my site is working properly, because we are going to be dealing with some code. And as such, I want to first off say that you need to do a full backup. Let's err on the side of safety. Do a full backup of both your files and your database, just to be on the safe side. And then come on over to www.giftofspeed.com/gzip-test. That'll bring you to this page here. And all we have to do is put in the URL of our website here. Now let's come on back here, copy, paste kind of thing. Copy, paste, click on check. Ta-da! As I had mentioned, it is not enabled. My site is not enabled for gzip. And it tells you here the benefits if it were enabled. And if we scroll on down here, how do I enable gzip? Click here for detailed guide. Well, this gives you a detailed guide of a couple of different ways, actually a few different ways in which you can enable gzip on your site. Most of these ways require you to edit your .htaccess file, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Another way down here at the bottom, which specifically talks about WordPress, and as it says here in the red print, it's not recommended whatsoever. So we have these options here. And if you're not really familiar with what type of server you have, chances are pretty good it's on an Apache server. And if you're interested in making any of these adjustments and you're just not sure about getting your hands dirty, making these changes to your .htaccess file, then I would suggest contacting your hosting service and letting them know what you're wanting to do. There's actually a couple of different types of gzip that you may want to find out first which one your particular server provides. Again, that would require a contact to your hosting service. Now, that all being said, let me show you the easy way. Log into your cPanel control panel. I know I should have led off with this, but scroll on down until you get to the software and services module. And right here where it says optimize website, go ahead and click on that. Now, most cPanel control panels will have this option. If yours does not, or you do not have a cPanel style control panel, then contact your hosting service and tell them what you're wanting to do and ask them about which particular gzip code you would be able to add to your .htaccess file. Anywho, we are in our cPanel control panel, clicked on Optimize Website, click on that radio button that says Compress All Content. Now, don't blink because we're done. Let's come on back to our test and let's see about our compression. It's enabled, all by simply going to our cPanel control panel and then going down and clicking on Optimize Website. That's how easy it is to enable gzip and serve up a much faster loading website to your visitors than if gzip was not enabled. And that's going to finish off this video on using gzip to make your WordPress site load much faster in your visitor's browser. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.